Now, for a lot of people that watch my channel, this video right here might be the one you have been waiting for, okay? So we focused a lot of attention again on the North and the West Metro, okay? But if there's a suburb in the South Metro that can really compete with the Edmonds, the Yukons, it's Norman, okay? That's where we are right now, so let's dig into it. When it comes to Norman, a lot of people want to know, is it just a college town because of the University of Oklahoma, which is where I'm at right now? And the answer to that question is no. Norman is way more than just a college town. Look, there are over 125,000 people that live in Norman, okay? And that number does not include students that go to the University of Oklahoma. But with that being said, look, the University of Oklahoma has a major footprint here in Norman, okay? That is no secret, and the university does swing a pretty big axe. But again, there's more to Norman than just the university. Now, where exactly is Norman? Look, Norman is pretty much 20 miles straight south of downtown Oklahoma City, right down I-35. And Norman is gonna be just south of Moore. In fact, they kind of touch in certain areas, okay? And we just talked about Moore in our last video. So if you're someone who's gonna be working in downtown Oklahoma City, you know, I would say to get to and from downtown from Norman, you're probably looking at somewhere between 30 to 35 minutes, depending on the traffic. Again, I think there's more congestion going towards Edmond. So if you're thinking about moving to Edmond as well, I think there's more congestion that way than it would be if you were to buy a house in Norman. But with that being said, Edmond is closer. Like downtown Edmond is 5 to 6 miles closer than downtown Norman is to downtown Oklahoma City. So from downtown to downtown, Edmond is actually closer. So again, you might have more congestion in Edmond, but you're a little bit closer. So your commute times could be about the same. You know, 7 to 8 in the morning, you know, a little bit after 5. Norman's a big enough city and you have enough people working in the city that you are gonna have some congestion going home. You know, it's just gonna be those corridors, that rush hour time where it's really gonna be congested and not much after that. And the city's pretty much broken up into two sections. There's East Norman and then there's West Norman. And believe it or not, both sides of Norman have their own personalities. And in my opinion, that's mainly because of OU, which is on the east side of the city. And the dividing line for the east side and the west side is pretty much gonna be I-35, okay? And the cool thing about I-35 is there is a lot going on along that corridor. And when I say this I-35 corridor has everything, I really do mean that it pretty much has everything, especially in this Legacy Park area, okay? I mean, when you get to Legacy Park, you're gonna basically have all the shopping you want. You're gonna have your Target, you're gonna have your Academy, you're gonna have your Ulta, you're gonna have your TJ Maxx. You're also gonna have tons of other places to go clothes shopping or shoe shopping when you get in this area. And when it comes to restaurants, I mean, it's sky's the limit. I would have to say there's at least 30 to maybe 40 different bars, restaurants, coffee shops that are in this area. I mean, if you want a sit-down restaurant, you know, that's a little bit more upscale, you can find that here. If you're gonna want something that's quick and easy, inexpensive, you can find that down here. When you get in this area, you're gonna have pretty much everything you want when it comes to shopping. And again, it's accessible for people who live on both the west side of Norman or the east side of Norman. And if you go just south of I-35, you're gonna have a Walmart, you're gonna have a Best Buy. You're also gonna have the Sooner Mall, which is gonna be right off I-35. And it's a legit mall. I think they're missing one of their anchors, but they still have a Dillard's. They still have all the important places that a lot of people are gonna wanna go. You know, I mean, if you're someone that wants to buy some OU gear, you're gonna be able to do that at Sooner Mall. Someone that likes Bath and Body Works, it's gonna be there. Victoria's Secret, it's gonna be there. And just south of the mall, there's going to be even more shopping, okay? And if you keep going south, you will run into Riverwind Casino, okay? If you're someone that likes to play the slots, Riverwind is the spot that a lot of people in the Oklahoma City Metro like to go to, okay? And if you're someone that's not into gambling, but you wanna go see a concert, Riverwind has you covered there too. Look, I'm not gonna lie, a lot of legitimate acts that you still wanna see, they do hit Riverwind, okay? So again, you may not be a gambler, but Riverwind is a great place to check out a concert. And in the northern part of Norman, I mentioned this in my Moore video, right between Norman and Moore, there's a place called Heyday. And again, it's like a Dave & Buster's. So you're gonna have that out here as well, okay? And again, all of that is right along I-35, okay? And again, right across from Legacy Park, almost forgot, there's a movie theater and other restaurants and other things to do. So when it comes to vibes, West Norman and East Norman are completely different, you know? In fact, I'm in West Norman right now, and in my opinion, West Norman is a lot like Edmond, in my opinion. You know, it definitely gives off a very Edmond vibe. In fact, I'm in the shopping center, and it's very similar to the Spring Creek Shopping Center in Edmond. You know, there's an Ann Taylor Loft, there's a Chico's, there's the Louis, there is a Starbucks. Looking in the parking lot, a lot of Mercedes, a lot of Volvos, a lot of Cadillacs, a lot of luxury cars in this area. So again, it does give you a vibe of Edmond. In fact, a lot of the housing over here, you know, there are going to be several neighborhoods that are going to be, I would say, you know, middle class to upper middle class to wealthy here in West Norman. And don't get me wrong, East Norman has some spots too. You know what I mean? That's on that upper middle class, wealthy scale. I mean, they're on both sides, but West Norman, it just has that feel, you know, of suburbia. Now look, not every home in West Norman is going to be a, you know, $500,000, $750,000 new construction, you know, luxury home. There are going to be a lot of homes in Norman that are going to be, you know, built in the 70s, 80s, 1960s. But even these neighborhoods, in my opinion, are going to be extremely nice. I mean, there are a lot of nice neighborhoods in West Norman. In fact, the neighborhood I'm in right now, I feel like I'm walking around in a neighborhood that's from a 1980s sitcom. Like, all the lawns are cut immaculately. All the houses have that look from that era. Like, I can't get the theme song to Who's the Boss out of my head. Did y'all hear that? But again, this area, West Norman, is going to be popular for a lot of people. And here's the deal, there's still everything over here. You know what I mean? There's gonna be your grocery stores. There's going to be, again, a lot of shopping. Everything that you want to do, you can do it here in West Norman. And like I said earlier in my video, you're gonna have that I-35 corridor, which is going to have everything, you know? But like this area that I'm in right now, too far from the Target. It's not too far from that I-35 corridor. You know what I mean? That's there. Again, West Norman this is where people go when you want to get away from the university. It's also going to be the more conservative side, okay? You know, again, West Norman and East Norman are different. East Norman, a little bit more liberal. It's by the university. When you get into West Norman, it's going to be a lot more conservative. So if you're a person that's moving from California and you're thinking to yourself like, I want to get away from, you know, more liberal thinking, but you are kind of curious about Norman, then in my opinion, you would rather be on the west side. You'd rather be away from the university. The only negative, in my opinion, about West Norman is that it's kind of the boring side. You know, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, it's, again, there are plenty of things to do over here. I mean, shopping, restaurants, bars. But the east side, again, because you got college students and, you know, the universities over there, in my opinion, the east side is the fun side, okay? You know, that's the fun side. But hey, if you're living in Norman, you also got to remember that, again, 95% of the time you're going to be in your neighborhood, you know, at your house. And then you also got to remember, hey, if you do want to go to the east side, you want to go to the fun side, you're only 10 to 15 minutes away from getting to that side of town. So, you know, if you're someone that really is looking for something to be, you know, quieter, if you're looking for that middle class, upper middle class, you know, house, you're looking for that neighborhood, you're looking for that kind of lifestyle, then you're definitely going to get that here in West Norman. All right. But then again, if you really want to go to the east side of Norman, you can. And when you get into East Norman, the vibe is completely different than West Norman. Okay, when you get in this area, it's going to be a lot more artsy, especially when you get downtown. I mean, once you get down here, there's going to be murals on the walls. There's going to be sidewalk art. There's a place where you can buy records. It's a lot of bars, a lot of restaurants. You also have the architecture of buildings that are well over 100 years old. Even the bike racks down here are a piece of art. They're shaped as a fork and a spoon in some places. They're shaped as a jazz musician. I mean, everything down here just has a more artsy vibe. There's the Sooner Theater down here, which is where I got slapped by a tiger when I was still in news and I was covering a story with Joe Schrievogel, AKA the Tiger King. Long story. You want to go to a brewery? Come downtown. You want to get a tattoo? Come downtown. You want to buy some art? Come downtown. There's even a statue of the original Maverick, AKA James Gardner, who's from Norman. Not only does he have his own statue, but he also has a street named after him. Look, I used to watch old Westerns with my mom, okay? Love me some Maverick. And here's the crazy thing about it. Again, there's just as many older people walking around downtown, moving around downtown, as there are younger people. Again, Norman is not just a college town. And if you're gonna be in downtown, a good place to eat is gonna be the Diner, which is well over 100 years old, okay? And it is the oldest restaurant in the city of Norman. Now, the food there was pretty good. The service was what you'd expect from a diner of that era. Not a very big place, but again, it's a classic place that you gotta check out if you're gonna be in Norman. Again, for $12, you're gonna get all the food that I just showed you, plus biscuits and gravy, which is a pretty good deal. Look, I'm gonna be honest, man, Norman's not a place you really wanna come hang out if you're watching what you're eating. I mean, there are some places around here that have some good vegan options, and there are plenty of healthy places to eat, but there are some places around here that are not so healthy. You know, there's a spot called Bison Witches that does soups, and they do it in like a bread bowl. Oh my God, the place is good. And then they also have some really, really great sandwiches. So again, Norman, there's plenty of healthy places to eat, but again, there are some places that are not so healthy. Another popular place here in Norman is gonna be Ray's Barbecue, so we're gonna give it a try. Now, when I came in here, I was intrigued by the barbecue. However, they had collard greens on the menu, so we gonna see. Okay. Now again, I ain't gonna lie, the collard greens, And the green beans are good. They're legit. Turkey, it's good too. It's brisket. I ain't gonna lie, Ray. This brisket tastes like Lincoln Riley cooked it, bro. I mean, a little on the dry side. There's also another popular barbecue place here in Norman, and that is Van's Pig Stand. And to keep things fair, I'm gonna try my hardest to order the exact same things. All right, so just like Ray's, Van's has collard greens. And so, again, I'm gonna grade them the same way I did at Ray's, okay? Nope. 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 Again, now, as for the brisket, it's way better here, you know, than it is at Ray's, in my opinion. So again, I think either place you can't go wrong. The chicken and the turkey, both of them were good at both places. So look, I mean, if you go to Ray's, again, wasn't a fan of the brisket. If you come to Van's, you sure in the hell need to stay away from these collard greens, because boy, they ain't got no season on them. But again, I think if you go to both places, you know, you're gonna find something on the menu that you're gonna like, but you might stay away from those two items. And believe it or not, the city of Norman actually has an active train station, okay? Once a day, you can actually take a train from here all the way to Dallas, okay? Which is kind of insane. As for the train station itself, it's now called just the depot. And when it's not being used for the few Amtrak travelers that it gets every day, it's actually a museum. This month's exhibit is Black Cowboys in America by Pulitzer-winning photojournalist Ron Tarver. But the most popular museum here in Norman is probably the Sam Noble Oklahoma Museum of Natural History, which is something I checked out. And I mean, I'm telling you, if you have a kid that loves dinosaurs, man, they will absolutely love this place. The museum also does an excellent job of telling Oklahoma's history, but instead of doing it through the eyes of the settlers and through the eyes of people that were here from the land run, they do it from the perspective of the indigenous people, you know, kind of sharing the history of what Oklahoma was before it was even Oklahoma. Also on campus is the Fred Jones Museum of Art. I'm telling you, that place is absolutely spectacular. If you're someone that loves museums and you guys love art, it's just like the Sam Noble Museum, it just kind of goes to show you what kind of University of Oklahoma is. And if you're someone that's living in Norman, it's something you got to take advantage of. And when it comes to outdoor space, Norman has tons of it. On their website, they claim to have over 60 parks. And when I first read that, I was like, 60 parks? Like there's no way a place with 125,000 people has 60 parks. Man, they are everywhere, and they come in various sizes. Some of the parks are big, some of the parks are small, some have amphitheaters, some have, you know, skate parks, some have soccer fields. I mean, when it comes to outdoor space, there is tons of it here in Norman. So if you're someone that likes to get out, you know, Norman is gonna be definitely a great spot for you to get out and walk. There's plenty of places around here that have walking trails, you know, and the cool thing about it is, you know, a lot of the walking trails, especially near the university, they're gonna have, you know, emergency call buttons. So, you know, if you're someone that's gonna be thinking about going to the University of Oklahoma, or someone that's gonna be living around here and you like to run at night and get out, then, you know, there is a little bit of safety there. And if walking or driving is not your thing here in Norman, a lot of people get around in these motorized scooters. And of course, the really cool thing about these scooters is that, of course, you pay with a credit card, and when you get done with it, you can pretty much just drop this thing off, you know, wherever you want to. I mean, these things are all over the city of Norman. People also ride bikes quite a bit around here. And bike lanes can be seen throughout the city. There's also a city-owned golf course, there's a city-owned tennis center, and a fantastic aquatic center that's also here in Norman. And if you're a person that loves the water, then there's Lake Thunderbird, which is a very popular place for fishing, boating, and even camping. It's a very popular spot during summer holidays such as Memorial Day, Labor Day, and of course the 4th of July. Now, of course, one of the most popular spots near the campus is going to be Campus Corner, of course. Down here, you're gonna have a lot of places to go shop, buy clothes. Of course, there's gonna be a lot of restaurants as well. On Saturdays, this place is an absolute madhouse when OU is playing. And you can check out a lot of the favorite spots like O'Connell's, which is super popular. Again, you're gonna have live radio shows, but Campus Corner is all the buzz when OU is playing. Again, a lot of the stuff we've been talking about, it is on the east side of Norman, which again, this is why I call it the fun side. If there is a drawback about living on the east side of Norman, it's the university. You know, especially on game day. You know, 6 weeks out of the year, the city of Norman is basically taken over by 90,000 fans that are going to the game, and then another 30 or 40,000 people that aren't going to the game, they're just here to tailgate. I mean, that's 150,000 people that are in the city of Norman. And if you live on the east side, you know, it can kind of make getting around an absolute nightmare. Housing on the east side of Norman is also different than the west side. When you get over here, you're gonna have homes that are built in the 40s, 50s, and 60s. You know, some homes are even gonna be built in the 20s and 30s. So if you're a person that likes tree-lined streets, east side of Norman is going to be for you. And the price point in this area, you know, you're looking at anywhere from, you know, a $200,000 fixer-upper all the way well over $1 million, just depending on, you know, what you're getting on the east side of Norman. In my opinion, Norman has layers of history, and you can see it in the homes. You know, you can see how they've changed from decades to decades to decades, which I find impressive. You know, again, you want homes in the 50s, you can find them here. 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, the 2000s, you can find whatever home you're kind of after, you can find that here. And that's why I think Norman might be appealing to a lot of people. No matter what you're really into, you can find it. And if you're after new construction, which a lot of my clients are, there's gonna be new construction all over the place here in Norman. It's gonna be new construction on the east side, the west side, the north side, the south side. I mean, again, there are tons of new neighborhoods going up on the south side, especially along Highway 9 or going south towards Noble, okay? Noble is actually a small city that is just south of Norman. I mean, it's literally like 7 minutes from the university. Now, if you're a person that's also looking for an investment property here in Norman, there are going to be plenty of options for you. You know, from time to time, you're gonna have some multi-family properties pop up, you know, such as duplexes, you know, quadplexes, things of that nature. They do hit the market every once in a while, but maybe not as often as you would like. And sometimes they can move quickly depending on the condition, because again, people know that they can probably rent them out to college students. So those things do go fast. There's also gonna be a lot of homes that you can buy and you can rent them out to college students as well. And if you're a person that wants land, you can get that in Norman too. You know, I've said this in my other videos, there are a lot of neighborhoods, you know, all across the metro where you can get a house in a regular neighborhood, but that house is sitting on like a 1 acre lot. So your neighbor is next to you, but they're not too close to you. You know, again, you may have 7 or 8 people or 10 to 15 people living on your block, but again, you guys all have a 1 acre lot. If you're someone that wants like real farmland though, you can get that out here too, especially, you know, in far east and far west Norman. Okay, you can still buy 20, 30, 40 acre plots of land out here. If you're someone that just says, hey, I want a farm and I want that kind of property, you can get it. If you want 5 acres, you can find it. So what about the people of Norman? Look, man, the people of Norman have been great. You know, I've had some great conversations with people since I've been here. You know, there are a lot of people that really care about the city and they care about the future of the city. You know, there are some people that love the university, and there are some people that think the university sometimes that uses this power to get what it wants, and sometimes that's not what's best for the people of Norman. As for how I've been treated here in Norman, man, the people here have been great. You know, and you know, what I really like about the different styles of people, this place isn't just diverse with ethnicity. This place is just diverse, and it has, I mean, anything that you would want as the type of people that you're looking for. You know what I mean? You're gonna have your liberals, you're gonna have your conservatives, you're gonna have the people that, you know, that are gonna be earthy, you know, kind of hippie. You're gonna have your cowboys. You're gonna have just this unique mixture that you can only get in a place like Norman. And what about schools? Look, according to niche.com, Norman Public Schools has an A rating, which is another reason why so many people are moving to this suburb. And when a place has good schools and economical housing, that's usually going to be a popular spot. And look, if you need help finding a house in the Oklahoma City metro area, especially Norman, give me a call, shoot me a text. If not, I'll see you on the next video.